All right. Hello, hello, hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are here today at Table Talk with Dr. Allen, and we have a very special guest today and a very needed topic today that we are going to discuss. There are so many of us who are just kind of in the house market, losing their homes, and just so many, some people blame it on COVID, and some people just, it's poor management. And so we have a guest today who's going to talk to us about those situations, whatever they are. Please get your pencil and paper ready so that you can write down this information and make sure that you are ahead of the game. And again, as we always say, is people perish for the lack of knowledge. So one of the reasons that we host Table Talk with Dr. A is so that we can make sure that people have information, whether it's information on voting, information on parenting, information on, biblical issues or current issues that's going on. We want to make sure that we are knowledgeable, and we can therefore make intelligent decisions about what we need to do. So we want to make sure that in all things we prosper. And sometimes that doesn't just mean money, but that means prosper in our health and in our knowledge and information. So certainly we want to make sure that everyone has that opportunity. So don't forget to log on and follow Table Talk with Dr. Allen. It will be under Breaking Free. Our YouTube channel is Breaking Free with Dr. Allen. Make sure you not only hit the follow button, but you also hit the notification button so that every time that we are on or we have any types of conversations, that you will get that notification and you will be a part of those conversations. We don't want you to miss out on getting any of that information that can help you be a better person who can live life purposefully. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to a young lady that I've known for a really, really long time. She has been in the mortgage servicing industry for 30 years or more. And so when you talk about somebody being at a job for 30 years, but definitely in that particular industry, it's pretty much safe to say that they know their stuff. And so we're going to talk to her today about, mortgages, what we can do to get ourselves in position and out of situations so that we can have a better environment in terms of our mortgages. So please help me welcome to Table Talk with Dr. Allen, Mrs. Rhonda Linton. How are you, Rhonda?
Hey, good evening. How you doing, Dr. Allen? And of course, it's a pleasure just being your guest this evening. And I'm here to discuss anything you may want to discuss in reference to,
Okay, y'all.
servicing.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I don't know who this person is right here, because when we talk, we just talk. So she's trying to be all prim and proper today. So I'm gonna just say, I don't know who that person is. So
There's
come
always
on.
2 or 3 sides to a personality.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, Mrs. Rhonda Linton.
Okay.
Thank you for being on the call today. We
Okay.
certainly appreciate you. So
Okay.
talk to us a little bit. We've got
Okay.
lots of things going on. I have clients who have lost their homes.
Okay.
And I have talked to people, friends who, who's going through this whole mortgage crisis.
Mhm.
What is mortgage servicing, and why is that so important?
Okay. So mortgage servicing is just where when you talk to your mortgage company, they're servicing your loan. So they're going to enforce the contract that you sign. Okay.
Okay.
So every customer need to make sure, take on responsibility that they know what type of loan that they have. They need to seek an attorney a realtor attorney to make sure they understand what they have signed, because a lot of customers just sign and go because I got me a house, or that,
Right.
the American dream. I have a house, and that's what
Right.
they want. But they
And that's
never
the
think
best way to,
about,
and that's the best way to hide information is you put it in writing. And when you're buying a house, there's so many pages to that
correct,
document. Most people don't stop to read that
they
information.
don't. And
Wow.
now this is broad, because you have 3 days. Once you close on your home, they give you those keys. You have 3 days to say, you know what, I can't do this. I this is overwhelming. You can just say, you can walk away. You can do that, but that's a whole nother segment itself. But as far as servicing, when you call your mortgage company, they are servicing your loan. Okay. So that's what I do. Now, of course, I don't work for your mortgage company. I'm not your servicer. So I'm just going to give you some general tips in reference to a homeowner. Keep communication line open with your mortgage servicer.
Mm,
We are going to what we're going through now as far as society, everything is paperless.
right.
Read your statements. If you don't get statements, be very friendly to the website, to your account, and study that account. Reach out again to your mortgage servicer. And if you are in any type of bind, and you're in jeopardy of certain things, you need to understand, first of all, what type of loan you have. Secondly, what can you do to save, to protect your home, your investment?
So before you go to the next point, talk to me about loans, because you just said know what kind of loan you have. So what kind of loans are out there and available for people?
I mean, but again, that's on the sales end. And
Gotcha.
again, so in servicing, of course, you have to know, okay, what come before you. So I'm familiar with government, conventional, uninsured, so then if you have, when they say uninsured, so they say you have insurance. If you don't, so that customer, when they sign that 30-year note, if it's a fixed rate, nothing is changing. The only thing that could ever change would be if you are escrowed, is your taxes going up or down? Okay. So again, you have to be very, very into your mortgage note, what you're paying for.
Right.
You have to be, or you'll get lost. You have to know what you sign. And again, that's why sometimes you just have to say, hold on, like you said, it's be 100 pages, sign here, sign there, sign here, sign there, initial here, initial there. And if you're just going with the note, just going with it, you can just say, wait a minute, when they say your home is ready for you to move in, can I get these documents? I need my attorney to review these documents.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing you can do. Ask. You have
Gotcha.
not because you ask not.
Right.
Ask. Once you get into the home, if you are coming to some trouble times, and again, I want everybody to understand who look at
It
this
happens.
video,
Yeah.
I am just giving tips. I'm not your
Right.
mortgage servicer.
Right.
I'm not telling you what to do,
Right.
how to do. This is just general information that you can, if you can take some from it, take some from it. Nowadays, you have so many things has happened, because it changes. I've been in this over 30 years. What I saw 30 years ago don't even exist now.
Wow. Yeah.
Not at all. So, and back to what you was asking, like what you have different types. You have jumbo loans. You have 30-year notes, 15-year notes. They can be fixed, or they can be, as they call an arm loan, adjustable rate mortgage notes. It's depend on what that customer signed, whatever they feel like was best for them at that timing.
Right.
So, customers just have to know what they sign.
Right.
And a lot of times, in the servicing industry, I didn't know I signed that. I don't know I had that. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you signed. So where's your documents? You don't have them anymore. I mean, so it's so many different things that comes along with that.
Right.
Just people need to really know what it comes into what you sign. Because you can have a interest daily loan that if it falls behind you, you started paying interest on a 30-year note. So when you think you're gonna pay that off?
Right.
So you have to know what you sign. That's first.
Mhm.
Important as key factors, and that's first. Okay. But there's so many things out there that can help the customers. Nonprofit organizations. You know, some things happen. Reach out to United Way, Salvation Army, Red Cross, Urban League in your area, in your community. If they can't help you, ask them, can they refer you to a nonprofit organization that's under their umbrella? Who can? Those are things as well they need to look into. Pride holds up people a lot. Oh, I don't know, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. It's somebody else. Well, evidently you don't need no help.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
that's
you know,
true.
yeah, so things of that nature, you know, you need to just really, people need to just reflect on it, think about it. You know, what can they do to, you have to help yourself. You know, it's a old, you know, saying, you know, help me to help you.
Right.
So how can your servicer help you, but you're not helping?
Right.
You know, other things they can look at, talk to your mortgage servicer, see, you know, if your money was funny at one point, you didn't have no money, now you got some money, you ready to pay. Can I repay this? I mean, you know, maybe they won't say it, maybe they will offer to, but talk to them. See if you can do a repayment plan. How long can you do the repayment plan? Is there any other workout options? Anything else you can do? How can you help me to save my home? What's offered? So every servicer may offer something different. So just talk to your mortgage provider, your service, and ask, what can I do? Either what can you offer me? What options do I have as of this point to help me save my investment?
Mhm.
Again, it come right back to, you have to ask. If you ask not, you have not. If you're
Right.
paperless, I'm study going backwards. If you're not receiving your statements, you need to be very active on that website. And we know ourselves, just if you have a mobile app, even if you're looking at Waterburg on a mobile app, but if you put it up on a laptop or a computer, it's going to give you more information.
Right.
Get on a computer, go to the library. It's free to just go in the library. They may give you an hour or two to scan and look at what you need to. Pay
Right.
that 10 cents or 20 cents to print out what you need to. That's for your investment, to get what
Mhm.
you got to get, to print out
Absolutely.
documents so you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You know, any other questions?
No, I'm good. I'm writing this. I'm writing this down. So one, know what you've signed. Two,
Mhm.
find or ask about a nonprofit that has maybe an organization under their umbrella, and you know, check to repay and what kind of repayment plan they have. Really and truly, what it sounds like, it all boils down to communication.
It
And
is.
and I get it, because I used to say it. If you call me, well, I still say it sometimes. You know, we're in the age of, we have the cell phones that have caller ID on it, and when people call me, if they're unavailable, I'm unavailable. I'm not answering calls that I don't know. But sometimes those companies are calling you to help you, because one thing I know is these
Mhm.
banks don't want these houses.
They
They don't.
don't. They got enough of them.
Yeah, they don't want your house. So they are willing to work with you for you to keep your house. But you can't avoid it. You have to make sure that, like you said, just the pride comes before the fall, you know, but we have to put down our pride so that we can, you know, save our home, so that we can have a place to live for our family. And so we have to be willing to communicate.
But you have so many customers, they are so afraid. The
Yeah,
pride, they're afraid, they don't know what to say. The communication, unfortunately, is not
right,
even in the household.
right.
That happens a lot. I mean, you just like
Yeah.
the left hand don't know what the right hand doing.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, didn't even know what's behind. Make sure your names are updated. People names change. And
Mhm.
then, you said this is my house, but it ain't in your name. So all this, you have to keep up with this. You have to make sure if your
Yeah.
name changed, you get married 5 times, you need to make sure at that courthouse, make sure all your stuff is updated. Make sure your records are updated with your name. Anything of
Mhm.
value, even from a car to a home, if there's something of value, make sure your name, your credentials is updated.
Yeah.
All of that is very important. The 401k, if you're working, reach out to your place of employment, see if you can get assistance with your home. A lot of people don't want to do that. It's embarrassing. They don't want no one to know. Your church, that's why you pay sick and shed in and benevolent offering. That's what it's for. You're not working, your income is low. If you can't go to where you not trying to tell no one to do certain things, but again, if you're contributing to that's a nonprofit organization. If you're
Right.
contributing, you should be able to go to the leaders of your place of worship and ask. That's
Right.
what it's for. Because if I'm investing, I'm paying, to my place of worship. And if I need help with water, gas, light, phone, cable, internet, to keep those
You
things
should be able
on,
to go there.
you should be able
Right.
to go there.
But I want to stress this though, that is for assistance for, you've fallen on hard times, you've lost your job, you were
Yes.
sick or a family member.
Yes.
This is, I don't believe in fostering or supporting irresponsibility.
No, it's only
So
for hard time. That's the only reason why
yeah,
I would even mention it, because it still falls in the category of a nonprofit organization.
right. Yeah,
Just to see what they can do, because okay, if for an example, if I can go to the Allen Foundation, and let's say Allen Foundation assists me with my water, gas, and light, they pay that for 30 days. So if you do the math on it, maybe that may relieve a mortgage payment for me where I can go pay a mortgage note.
right.
Or they may pay the mortgage note. They're not going to pay me. They're going to send it to your mortgage servicer. And then now
Right.
you can go pay your water and lights.
Right.
So people just have to think.
Yeah.
And again, it's communication. Like you said, you have to ask. You can't be afraid. You can't be ashamed.
Right.
If you're working, you've been on your job over 5 years, you might have $10,000 that you can go to your place of business
Right.
and ask in reference for a hardship. Are you able to do that? And I did speak on the church, the sick and the shut in, and then your HUD counseling agencies as well. Reach out. These are things that anybody can Google. Google it. Uh, Google HUD counseling agency, for a phone number. Google homeowners assistance funds to see if anything is available. And a lot of this stuff is in every customer, their monthly mail. Or
Right.
if you have an account online with your service, it's there. But again, some people either lazy, they don't want to do it, or they embarrassed, or pride. And it's
And it really was more embarrassing, going and putting the pride down and asking,
Mhm.
or being put out of your house and having to find somewhere to go,
Right.
and and you and your children and your family. So I get it. If you have not gone through hard times, just keep living.
Keep living.
It's
It's fine.
inevitable. It's life. It's life.
It's all
So,
right.
and it may not be to this degree, but to whatever degree it does, it's affecting. It's effective. It affects your,
Right.
it can affect your psyche. It can affect,
It can.
yeah.
It can
Just so
stress you.
many.
You can have anxiety behind it. You can't rest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's a lot of things that plays a factor to
Yeah,
it. It causes
yeah,
disturbance in the home. It's a lot.
Woo! Talk about that disturbance in the home. I'm not really friends with this particular lady, but she and her husband lost their home because she was doing a one of those network marketing businesses that was not legitimate,
Oh Lord.
and she had taken money,
Mhm.
their savings, and I think it was, well, I'm not gonna call which one it was because some
Right, right.
people may be listening, but um, she took a large sum of money and was expecting to get it back, and she didn't get it back in time. Well, they lost their home behind that, and it cost, I mean, it caught the husband by surprise because he didn't have a clue.
Wow.
She took care of those things, and so now here they both are, empty nesters, having to now go live with their children, because of poor investment, just poor choices, but probably could have
You know
saved
what?
something.
Sometimes I call it quick, fast money. You know, you get caught up in the hype. Oh, if I do that too, oh, it'll work for me too. And I just call it modern day scams too. What works for you may not work for me. You got to find your own niche. What's going to work for you?
Right, right.
Like they say, you got to crawl before you walk. All of
Yeah.
that.
And
But
nothing
if you
comes fast.
it don't. You got like it's true saying you got to give everything at least a good 5 years on it. 3 to 5.
Yeah,
3 to 5. But I
yeah,
mean, home is it's an investment. It can continue to appreciate if you take care of it,
right.
you know. So within the last space, just depend on when you bought your home. Because if anyone purchased a home 20 years ago, yeah, your
Right.
value is, I mean, you sitting real pretty as far as the value of your home, but you just really have to know what type of loan you have.
So, okay, tell me about this, and you may or may know, or may be able to talk to a little bit about this. I I hear a lot of people, particularly senior citizens, talking about the reverse mortgages.
Okay.
What do you know anything, or do you
Not
know?
really. I know a little bit about it. A reverse mortgage is my understanding. Again, I'm gonna keep saying, don't quote me on it, but my understanding is whereas I'm if you need 80,000, they say they'll do a value of your home, and they say we can value it at 90,000, and you probably bought it for X amount of dollars. There your
Mhm.
90,000. But if that owner, whomever should pass, I don't know if they work with the family to pay the loan back, or if they take the property. So that would be something that for anybody signing it, they ask those type of questions.
Really need to, yeah,
Because when
gotcha.
you say reverse, I mean, it's telling you what is a reverse. So we reversing it back. We're saying, I'm gonna take back. I'm reversing. It's going back. It's just what it's saying. So what happens if I'm deceased, and what happens to this property? And again, it
Right,
goes back to reading and knowledge.
right,
Do I keep it? Is it something I can sign in here saying I can um, will this to my family, to my loved ones?
right.
Either can I do some type of will or something to say this is going to go to my children or my spouse, and they're going to pick up from there. Because if it's myself and my spouse on there, but I pass, okay, he's still alive, so that's fine. But
Right.
if everyone on that no pass, where do the property go? Is it reverse? Is it go back? I mean, do that company takes the house back, and whoever in there, they have to go ahead and just move out? They give them a certain length of time. These are questions that you need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, your senior citizen need not be trying to make those type of decisions alone. That need to be with their family. Where
Right.
they need, because you can look, that's like predatory lending. I'm 70 years old and I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Mm-hmm.
there to me making that type of decision? Am I my sane mind?
Right.
So those are things that you have to really be careful with. Um, because family can't come and say she wasn't even in her right state of mind. And I mean, who would even do this with her? Who would even do this? That's just like, Who would even do a second mortgage on a home and you don't know nothing about this person 80 years old?
Absolutely. Right. Right.
So those are things that I would say, like if anyone's listening, talk to your mother, your father, your grandparents, great aunts and uncles, nieces, whatever, and hey, make sure that they haven't signed those type of documents, because sometimes people do it behind they family back because the family is in need of money, or they trying to do some repairs on a home.
Right.
So things of that nature, no.
So
Mhm.
if someone is in the process of losing their home, and it's really kind of too late, or is there ever a time that it's too late?
Yeah, some states it could be. Some states it is, after 4 months, that 5th month, it's foreclosure. I mean, it's going to foreclosure, as they would call some states, Texas call like a Fat Tuesday, So you need to, again, it comes back to what type of loan you have, talking to your servicing company, your mortgage company. Every customer should know how long they have. Some states, there is no traditional. We're saying if you do for 5 months, it's gone to foreclosure, point blank simple, it's gone.
Right.
So once it go to sales, it go down to the attorney, and they take it to that court, and they boom, it's a bid, it's sales. If you go down there, you try to buy it back. Some states, they do give second chances. You can rent the house out, it's been foreclosed, but you can stay right there and keep paying.
Right.
It depends on what type of loan you have, what state you're in, because you still have your state laws that protects as well.
Right.
So that's why it's very important to know what you have, what you're up against. That's your service as far as what type of loan you have. Then you have to look at your state, your local laws and all of that as well.
Gotcha.
So that's why I said all that's a whole another segment is very wide, because you can break that down as for 50 states.
And each state is different.
Different. That's right. Some may have some similarities, some may be the same. Do they have a non-traditional? There is a traditional as far as when they foreclose. Can you buy the property? Can you bid on it? How long do you have to say, is there a ratification behind it? Can you stay in the property for, once it forecloses, you still have another 180 days before you have to vacate premises.
Gotcha.
So once that sheriff come out there and they start moving, they ain't stopping. You don't touch nothing. When they come in that door, they coming straight in. I don't care who's sitting there laying or everything going out. They ain't asking no question. Ain't talking about nothing. And that's the saddest thing to see. I done saw just in the area. I mean, you know how you can drive and you say, oh my God, they done got evicted. Oh my God. You be like, oh my, these people have been put out. And people driving down the street picking up their stuff.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking.
And a lot of times it just comes from because people are just scared. They don't know what question to ask. They don't know what to do. Sometimes they can try to seek for help and there's no funds available. Right. They might not be asking the right questions, Some states have more, and I just like when I say United Way Salvation Army, so like once a year when they send their little cards out asking us as consumers, just ask you to donate to certain organizations. I used to donate to the diabetes because that's what my mom passed up for being a diabetic, a lot of complications. So I always used to give to that because that was dear to my heart. Right. And anyone with diabetes, I'm like, okay, help them. So that way, if they family need to go there to help them with bills and money and food, that's
great. That's great.
Yeah. So, you just have to ask. So certain things, if there is an illness, reach out. That's why I said to a nonprofit organization, you have to ask the questions in reference to, I have a sickle cell. Is there a sickle cell organization under your umbrella?
So are there like counseling centers or mortgage counselors that can help people when they are, because you're saying ask the questions, but if I don't know what questions to ask, I'm not going to ask the right questions.
The number one question, like I said, if you are due for just 30 days. If you calling your mortgage service, some people want to run. You can't run from your mortgage note. You're going home every day. But once they call, but they do, you know what I'm saying? So when you get
Yeah.
a phone call and you don't want to call, you decide to call, I'm behind. Okay, what can I do?
Just
You
lay
just
it out
open,
there, just be honest and just let,
you
because
don't
they
open
already
up
know
their
you
door.
behind.
You are, so come on, you don't open
Yeah.
up their door.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
your news, read your, like I said, if you're paperless, a lot of, you know, a lot of us, we're going paperless. You have, you know, you have stuff online. Be familiar with, still, you got to go back and still be familiar.
Yeah.
What's out there? Read it and say, okay. So that would give you some type of idea on some type of questions. Because
Gotcha.
if you know, if you call your mortgage service, of course, they're going to be like, okay, how may I help you? Because if you
Right.
call in, you already got in mind, I need to ask something. And
Right.
if you say, I just don't know, I'm scared here, I don't know what to ask. Okay, what's the problem? What's causing the issue? That opened up a whole nother dialogue. So now we able to talk.
Gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
And now
Wow.
I can direct you somewhere.
Right.
But if
Wow.
you just don't say nothing, and well, I ain't called you, I know it's been about 4 months. You're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What you want me to do if you ain't talked to you in 4 months?
Right. And you already know you're behind
Yeah.
two
So it's been 4
months.
months. I'm looking at you like you looking at me. What you want me to do? You know?
Right. Wow. Well, I hope this information has been helpful. Again, I just know people who have lost homes, who because of their job situation with
Yes.
COVID and just so many different situations that we some of it irresponsibility, some of it is not, some of it people hardworking, going to work every day, trying to make it, make ends meet. And, just during COVID season, they had to use money to survive. And so I get it, I understand. But guys, we do not have to continue to be in these situations. There is help out there. So ask the right questions, read your information, know what kind of loan you've signed, find it out if there's a nonprofit organization or one that's under their umbrella who can offer some assistance, and find out if there's a repayment plan that you can participate in. Again, banks don't want houses. That's not their business. So they will work with you and try to do everything they can to make sure that you do not lose your home. So be
Google,
honest.
Shaw, tell me, Google, HUD Counseling Agency, uh, homeowners assistance funds. These are
Right.
just things to Google, you know, in
There's,
your state.
there
To
you
see if
go.
there's anything available.
Yeah.
Red Cross, United Way, Salvation Army, the Urban League.
Yeah.
Ask them if they can't, if they say we don't have funds available, can you refer me to a nonprofit
Someone else.
organization under your
Yeah.
umbrella? Ask your church, ask your job about your 401k.
Right. Right. So there are opportunities, guys. We just have to make sure that we are humble enough to,
Yeah.
to really ask those questions. And yes, they're hard questions, but it's for your quality of life and the life of your family and your children. Or maybe you're an empty nester and it's just about you guys, but still ask the hard questions.
Yes.
Well, Miss Rhonda Linton. Oh, I guess I'll get prim and proper again. Thank
Okay,
you.
we shall.
Thank you, Mrs. Rhonda Linton, for coming on. I love you to the moon and back. I appreciate you for allowing us to, infringe on your expertise. Anybody's been in that business for 30 years, you know your stuff. So maybe we can have you back on at another time and we can talk about another avenue of the mortgage industry that you can help us as we are trying to live our life on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be more than glad to come back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Love you, lady.